They marched us into the chambers for extraction of DNA samples, and we are all at their mercy, unsure if this will be our last time ever to see the sun. We are humans, but our planet Earth is not ours anymore. About 30 years ago, we were invaded by the Oro, a planet from a distant galaxy, hell-bent on conquering everything and anything in space. The Oro's method is insidious. Once they mark your planet, the first thing they send out is the cord, a long wire extending from their planet. Once attached to ours, it's over. They learn everything about the species living there, their strengths, weaknesses, and use it against them. This is how they've conquered all the planets before us. And this is how they conquered us too. Their regime has been brutal. They farm our natural resources and live in heavily guarded cities, where children cannot even go out during the daytime. It's a horror we've grown accustomed to. But the recent abductions have sparked new fear. They take people randomly, without reason, from town to town. No one knows if they'll ever see their families again. Among those taken is me, a young engineer from a small town on the outskirts of what was once known as Los Angeles. I find myself in a dimly lit chamber, surrounded by other captives, all awaiting our fate. "Any idea what they want with our DNA?" someone whispers. I shake my head. Who knows, maybe they're planning some new form of control. The room falls into silence as we wait, our minds racing with fear and uncertainty. Suddenly, the doors open, and a group of Oro guards enter, their metallic armor gleaming in the dim light. "Line up for extraction," one of them barks in their harsh, guttural language. Reluctantly, we obey, each stepping forward to submit to the invasive procedure. I feel a chill run down my spine as the Oro approaches me, their cold, calculating eyes scanning me up and down. As the extraction begins, I can't help but wonder what awaits us beyond these walls. Will we ever be free again? Or are we doomed to live out our days as prisoners of the Oro? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: the fight for freedom is far from over. When I wake up next, I find myself lying on the cold floor of a cell, sick and vomiting. They're holding us all in this cubicle without proper food or care. Some people are losing parts of their bodies, limbs, hands, and so on, as the Oro carry out their experiments on us. We're all sad and resigned to our fate. There is no one coming to save us now. Soon it's my turn to be strapped up and experimented on again. This time, they don't bother giving me any anesthesia and just proceed with their procedures. It's a living hell. Very painful. They talk about how they're close now, discussing how they're hacking into the human genome and would soon accomplish their goals. This terrifies me. But before they can do any significant damage to me, the entire place suddenly goes dark. It seems the grid has collapsed and lost its power. All the alien scientists scramble around, trying to make calls to get the lights back on. In the darkness, I feel a surge of hope. Perhaps this is our chance to escape, to turn the tables on our captors. But as the minutes tick by and the lights remain off, I realize that our situation is still dire. We're trapped in a cell, surrounded by guards with no weapons or means of defense. As the chaos ensues outside our cell, I glance around at my fellow prisoners, their faces illuminated by the faint glow of emergency lights. Despite the fear and uncertainty in their eyes, I see a spark of determination, a flicker of defiance against our oppressors. "We need to find a way out of here," I whisper to the person beside me. They nod, their expression grim. But how? We're trapped. I rack my brain, searching for any possible means of escape. Then an idea forms in my mind, a risky plan, but perhaps our only chance at freedom. "We wait for an opportunity," I say quietly. "And when it comes, we make our move." And so, we wait in the darkness, hearts pounding with anticipation, as we prepare to seize our chance for liberation. Whether we succeed or fail remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: we will not go down without a fight. Before the others and I could make any move, the door caved in and something crawled in. We couldn't see it. It was too dark in the science lab. The scientists scrambled around, trying to find out what this thing was. But before they could find it, it found them. This entity started taking the scientists down one after the other. All we heard were cries and screams as they fell and died. Soon all the soldiers were dead, and we were terrified for our lives. In the dim light, I'd strained my eyes to see what had invaded our prison. Shadows danced across the walls as the creature moved with deadly intent, its form barely visible in the darkness. Fear gripped my heart as I realized that this was no ordinary foe. We were facing something far more dangerous than the Oro. Just when I thought all hope was lost, the lights suddenly came back on. To our horror, the figure standing before us, who had taken down the scientists, was human. But it was not just any human. He was taller, bolder, and more massive than any human I had ever seen. His presence commanded respect and instilled a strange sense of awe. He moved closer to us, his gaze piercing through the darkness with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. Despite the fear gnawing at my insides, I couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope at the sight of this formidable stranger. With a swift motion, he untied our restraints, his movements fluid and precise. "Keep running," he instructed, his voice steady and unwavering. "Stay together and don't look back." His words filled us with a newfound sense of determination as we obeyed his command, scrambling to our feet and fleeing from the science lab. Behind us, chaos ensued as the mysterious stranger continued his onslaught against our captors, his strength and skill unmatched by anything we had ever witnessed. As we sprinted through the labyrinthine hallways, our hearts pounded in unison, fueled by adrenaline and fear. Everywhere we turned, we saw figures resembling our savior, men of imposing stature, their muscles rippling beneath taut skin, their eyes ablaze with a fierce determination. They moved with an effortless grace, dispatching the scientists with lethal precision, while simultaneously unlocking the prison cells, granting us our long-awaited freedom. It was a scene of utter chaos, a whirlwind of violence and liberation that left us breathless and bewildered. In the midst of the turmoil, we clung to the singular objective: escape. Finally bursting into the blinding light of day, we were met not with the open expanse of freedom we had yearned for, but with the stark reality of our captivity. We found ourselves on the deck of a colossal vessel, surrounded by security personnel armed to the teeth, their weapons trained on us with unwavering resolve. The magnitude of our predicament washed over us like a tidal wave, threatening to drown us in despair. But before the guards could unleash their fury upon us, our saviors, the Superhumans, intervened once more. Their towering formed a formidable barrier between us and our would-be captors. Bullets flew through the air in a deadly ballet, but the Superhumans remained unyielding, their impenetrable skin deflecting every shot with disdainful ease. As the last guard fell to the ground, defeated and lifeless, a collective sense of relief swept through the crowd. Yet, beneath the surface of our jubilation lurked a gnawing sense of apprehension. We were still marooned on this vessel, adrift in the vast expanse of the ocean, with no land in sight. Gazing out at the endless horizon, I felt a surge of uncertainty wash over me. How were we to navigate this treacherous sea? How were we to communicate with the outside world? The answers eluded me, casting a shadow of doubt over our newfound freedom. But amidst the uncertainty, a beacon of hope emerged. The Superhumans, our guardians in this tumultuous journey. Standing tall and resolute, they offered words of reassurance, their voices ringing with unwavering determination. "We may be stranded for now," one of them proclaimed, his voice a steady anchor in the sea of uncertainty. "But we will find a way to get you all to safety. Together, we will weather this storm and emerge victorious." And as we stood on the deck of our makeshift sanctuary, surrounded by the boundless expanse of the ocean, I knew that as long as we had each other and the indomitable spirit of our extraordinary allies, we would persevere against whatever challenges lay ahead. Our journey for freedom was far from over, but with unity as our compass and courage as our guiding light, we would navigate these uncharted waters and forge a path to a brighter tomorrow. As the vessel surged forward, propelled by the steady hand of the Superhumans at the helm, a sense of relief washed over us like a gentle tide. We had escaped the clutches of the Oro, at least for now, and were hurtling towards the promise of freedom on the distant shore. The Superhumans had taken total control of the vessel, their commanding presence instilling a sense of confidence and security among us. They ushered us to one side of the ship, where they treated us to clean clothes and a hearty meal, a luxury we had long been deprived of. As we ate, they reassured us with promises of reuniting us with our families once we reached the shore, a beacon of hope in the midst of uncertainty. But it was not just food and shelter that the Superhumans provided us with. They also shared with us the truth behind the Oro's insidious agenda. They revealed that the scientists had been attempting to harvest our genes in a bid to enhance their own strength and power. However, in their misguided pursuit of dominance, they inadvertently unleashed a new breed of humanity, superhumans like themselves, imbued with extraordinary abilities far beyond those of ordinary men. Though there were only 1,000 of these super soldiers, they vowed to stop at nothing until they had liberated the planet from the oppressive grip of the Oro. Their resolve was unwavering, their determination unyielding, as they spoke of a future where humanity would rise up against its oppressors and reclaim its rightful place among the stars. As the shoreline loomed ever closer on the horizon, a solemn discussion began among us, the ordinary humans who had been swept up in this extraordinary journey. We weighed the options before us, grappling with the decision of whether to return to our families or join forces with the super soldiers in their quest for liberation. In the end, the choice was clear. We could not in good conscience return to our old lives, knowing that the Oro's scientists would continue to hunt us down like animals. Our only chance at true freedom lay in standing shoulder to shoulder with the super soldiers, fighting for the liberation of our planet and the future of humanity itself. With resolve burning bright in our hearts, we approached the superhumans and made our decision known. We would not be going anywhere. We would stand with them side by side as they went on their daring mission to overthrow the oppressors and usher in a new era of peace and prosperity for all. Together we would defy the odds and carve out our own destiny, bound by a shared vision of a brighter tomorrow. As our vessel made landfall on the shore, the super soldiers wasted no time in executing their meticulously planned siege on a nearby communication tower. With expert precision, they neutralized any opposition, seizing control of the tower and its broadcasting capabilities. It was a pivotal moment, one that would change the course of history for humanity and the Oro alike. With the tower under their command, the super soldiers initiated a broadcast to the entire planet, their voices ringing out with authority and determination. The airwaves crackled with their message, carrying it to every corner of the world, from the bustling cities to the remote wilderness. "Attention, citizens of Earth," their voices echoed, reverberating with a resonance that commanded attention. "We stand before you as the vanguard of a new era, a time of liberation and defiance against our oppressors. The Oro sought to exploit our genetic material for their own gain, but in their hubris, they unwittingly unleashed a power greater than they could have ever imagined. We are not mere subjects to be experimented on. We are warriors united in our resolve to reclaim our planet and cast off the chains of tyranny." Their words sparked a wildfire of rebellion across the planet, igniting the hearts and minds of humanity with a fervor not seen in generations. From the bustling metropolises to the remote villages, citizens rose up against their alien overlords, their determination unyielding in the face of oppression. The Oro, caught off guard by the sudden uprising, scrambled to quell the rebellion, but it was like trying to stop a tidal wave with a bucket. The sheer scale and ferocity of the resistance overwhelmed their defenses, sending shockwaves rippling through their once unassailable empire. As the rebellion spread like wildfire, the Oro faced a choice: stand and fight or flee for their lives. Many chose the latter, abandoning their posts and fleeing into the depths of space, their once mighty empire crumbling in the face of human defiance. But not all of the Oro fled. Some remained behind, determined to hold on to their power at any cost. From their remaining stronghold, they launched a desperate counter-broadcast, a chilling proclamation of their intent to reclaim what they believed was rightfully theirs. The news of the impending Oro retaliation sent a shiver of fear through the newly liberated human population. We had rejoiced at our newfound freedom, basking in the glow of victory after years of oppression. But now, faced with the looming threat of retaliation, our celebration turned to apprehension. Gathered in town squares and refugee camps, we huddled together, seeking solace and strength in each other's company. The super soldiers, ever vigilant, stood among us, their towering forms a beacon of hope in the gathering storm. "We have faced great challenges before," one of them declared, his voice steady and resolute, "and we have emerged victorious every time. Together we will stand against the Oro and defend our newfound freedom with every fiber of our being." And as we prepared for the inevitable clash with our alien adversaries, a sense of unity and determination swept through the crowd. We may have been enslaved for over 3 decades, but we would not go quietly into the night. We would fight with every ounce of strength and courage we possessed, united in our resolve to protect our planet and secure a future for generations to come. As the super soldiers rallied soldiers from every corner of the globe, a sense of urgency hung heavy in the air. We knew that our survival depended on our ability to band together and confront the alien threat head-on. But as we prepared for battle, a grim realization dawned upon us. The Oro possessed a planetary rod capable of exerting control over our weather and atmosphere. The implications of this revelation sent a shiver of fear down our spines. We had always known that the Oro had access to vast amounts of information about our planet and its inhabitants, but the extent of their power was beyond anything we had imagined. With the ability to manipulate the very forces of nature itself, they held the fate of humanity in their hands. True to their ruthless nature, the Oro wasted no time in unleashing their first attack, an onslaught of eco-warfare designed to cripple our defenses and weaken our resolve. Thunder roared overhead as lightning streaked across the sky, heralding the arrival of violent storms and tempests of unprecedented ferocity. But we were not defenseless. With the guidance of the super soldiers, we sought refuge in underground bunkers, shielded from the wrath of the elements above. Though the storms raged on with unrelenting fury, we stood firm, refusing to cower in the face of adversity. The battle against the elements was not without its casualties. Brave souls fell to the relentless onslaught, their sacrifice a stark reminder of the stakes at hand. But for every life lost, a dozen more remained, united in their determination to see this fight through to the end. As the storm subsided and the skies cleared, a defiant spirit swept through our ranks. Though battered and bruised, we emerged from our shelters with a renewed sense of purpose, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. But the Oro were not content to let us lick our wounds in peace. Another broadcast crackled to life, echoing across the airwaves with chilling certainty. They urged us to surrender, to lay down our arms and submit to their will. But we knew better than to heed their hollow words. The super soldiers regrouped, their resolve unshaken by the Oro's threats. With grim determination, they laid out a plan of action, a daring gambit to turn the tide of battle in our favor. We soon realized that the Oro had no intention of descending from their ships to engage us in direct combat. To them, we were nothing more than insignificant mortals, unworthy of their attention. But if we were to stand any chance of victory, we would need to devise a strategy that played to our strengths and exploited the Oro's weaknesses. As we gathered our forces and prepared for the coming onslaught, a sense of urgency pervaded our every action. Time was running out, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. We knew that we must come up with the plan, and soon, or else risk being annihilated by the Oro's merciless planetary rod. As I observed the super soldiers meticulously organizing the assembly of troops from a distance, a profound sense of admiration welled within me. They were the embodiment of valor and determination, the vanguards of our collective hope against the oppressive yoke of the Oro's dominion. The stratagem devised was both audacious and intricate, leveraging the orchestrated chaos of the army's diversionary assault on the enemy's vessel to cloak the covert infiltration mission of the super soldiers into the heart of Oro's bastion. It was a calculated risk, one that required unwavering resolve and unyielding commitment to see through to fruition. But amidst the uncertainty that shrouded our endeavor, there lingered a glimmer of hope, a beacon of light amidst the encroaching darkness. As the army mustered its forces and prepared to go on its pivotal mission, a palpable sense of apprehension permeated the air. The gravity of our circumstances weighed heavily upon us, casting a shadow of doubt over our resolve. Yet, despite the lingering doubts that gnawed at the recesses of our minds, we knew that retreat was not an option. The die had been cast, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. With the stronghold of our adversaries finally subdued, the super soldiers wasted no time in commandeering one of the Oro's formidable vessels, a sleek and imposing craft that stood as a testament to their advanced technology and prowess. As they went upon their perilous voyage towards the heart of the enemy's territory, I couldn't help but marvel at their unwavering determination and unflinching resolve. As the vessel disappeared into the vast expanse of space, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of our embattled species, I knew that our journey had only just begun. The road ahead would be fraught with peril and uncertainty, with every step shrouded in the looming specter of danger. Yet, amidst the darkness that threatened to engulf us, there flickered a flame of defiance, a beacon of hope that illuminated our path forward. And so, with hearts united in purpose and spirits fortified by the courage of our convictions, we pressed onward into the unknown. For though the road ahead may be fraught with peril, we faced it with heads held high and spirits unbowed, knowing that as long as the super soldiers led the way, victory was not just a possibility, it was our inevitable destiny. As our forces launched a full-scale assault on the Oro planet, the cacophony of battle echoed across the cosmos, a symphony of destruction and defiance that reverberated through the very fabric of space itself. We threw everything we had at the enemy, unleashing the full might of our army and armory in a desperate bid to reclaim our planet from the clutches of tyranny. But the Oro were not so easily vanquished. Instead of meeting our assault head-on, they deployed a cunning strategy, using our own forces against us. With a flick of their cosmic fingers, they unleashed a barrage of natural disasters upon us. Hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, all wielded as weapons of war in their relentless pursuit of dominance. Yet, we were not without our defenses. We had anticipated such tactics and prepared accordingly, fortifying our positions and implementing countermeasures to mitigate the Oro's onslaught. As the storms raged around us and the earth trembled beneath our feet, we stood firm, resolute in our determination to defend our planet at any cost. The battle was fierce and unforgiving, each passing moment marked by the thunder of cannons and the clash of steel. We fought with a ferocity born of desperation, knowing that the fate of our world hung in the balance. Comrades fell beside us, their sacrifices a somber reminder of the price of freedom. But still, we pressed on, fueled by the fire of righteousness that burned within our hearts. Meanwhile, amidst the chaos of battle, the super soldiers went on their own perilous mission, penetrating the Oro planetary belt under the guise of their adversaries. Clad in the garb of the enemy, they moved with stealth and precision, their minds as sharp as their blades. Despite their imposing stature and formidable strength, it was their intelligence that proved to be their greatest asset. Forged in the crucible of Oro captivity, they had learned the art of deception and subterfuge, honing their skills under the watchful gaze of their captors. And now, they put that knowledge to use, employing counterintelligence tactics to deceive the planetary guards and gain access to the inner sanctum of the Oro's domain. With each step bringing them close to their objective, the super soldiers moved with purpose and determination, their resolve unshaken by the dangers that lurked around every corner. For they knew that the fate of humanity rested on their shoulders, and they would stop at nothing to see their mission through to its triumphant conclusion. As the super soldiers infiltrated the Oro planet, they were met with a sight that defied their expectations. Instead of the war-torn landscape they had anticipated, they found themselves in the midst of an idyllic utopia, a world of gleaming golden buildings and impeccably dressed inhabitants. It was a stark contrast to the chaos and devastation that had engulfed our own planet, and for a moment, they couldn't help but marvel at the tranquility that surrounded them. But there was little time for awe or wonder. The mission ahead was clear: to dismantle the Oro's machinery and cripple their ability to wage war on our world. With grim determination, the super soldiers made their way to the heart of the Ouro's domain, the engineering center, where they would formulate their plans for conquest. Dividing themselves into several groups, each with a specific objective, they set about executing their strategy with ruthless efficiency. Their first target, the communications tower, a towering edifice that loomed over the cityscape, its sprawling network of antennas and transmitters a testament to the Ouro's technological prowess. For an average man, penetrating the heavily fortified tower would have been a fool's errand. But for the super soldiers, it was a challenge they were more than capable of overcoming. With their unparalleled strength and cunning, they infiltrated the tower, disabling its defenses and bringing its operations to a grinding halt. As the Ouros scrambled to restore communication in the wake of the tower's destruction, the super soldiers pressed onward with their mission. Their next objective lay across a vast expanse of sea, the planetary Rod Station, the linchpin of the Ouro's control over our world. Making their way across the long bridge that spanned the sea, the super soldiers encountered heavy resistance from the Ouro's forces, but they were undeterred, fighting tooth and nail against their adversaries as they pushed forward towards their goal. As they neared the Rod Station, the super soldiers knew that they would have to act quickly. With the fate of humanity hanging in the balance, there was no room for hesitation or doubt. And so, with weapons drawn and determination in their hearts, they launched a daring assault on the station, determined to bring an end to the Ouro's reign of terror once and for all. But the Ouro were not about to go down without a fight. As the super soldiers clashed with their alien adversaries, the bridge that connected the planet to the Rod Station became a battleground, with lives hanging in the balance with each passing moment. Yet, amidst the chaos and carnage, the super soldiers pressed on, their resolve unshaken by the odds stacked against them. And as the bridge crumbled beneath their feet, severed by the fury of battle, the super soldiers knew that they were one step closer to victory. For though the path ahead was fraught with peril and uncertainty, they would stop at nothing to ensure that humanity emerged triumphant in the end. As the conflict raged on Earth, the normal soldiers found themselves locked in a desperate struggle for survival amidst the onslaught of catastrophic damage wrought by the Ouro. Despite their valiant efforts, they struggled to make any significant headway against the overwhelming might of their extraterrestrial adversaries. With each passing moment, the situation grew more dire, and the toll of the war weighed heavily upon their shoulders. They knew that if the conflict dragged on much longer, the Ouro would surely succeed in destroying them all. Meanwhile, on the Ouro planet, the super soldiers pressed forward with their mission, their determination unyielding in the face of overwhelming odds. The Rod Station loomed before them, a formidable bastion of defense that held the key to the Ouro's control over Earth. It was the most heavily fortified part of the planet, housing vital records and information that could tip the scales of the war in humanity's favor. Undeterred by the daunting challenge that lay ahead, the super soldiers launched a daring assault on the station, their movements swift and precise. With lightning speed, they dispatched the guards that stood in their way, their training and expertise proving to be invaluable assets in the heat of battle. And as they breached the inner sanctum of the station, they wasted no time in disabling the planetary rod, severing the Ouro's control over Earth and crippling their ability to wage war. But their task was far from over. With the rod disabled, the super soldiers set explosives on it, ensuring that the Ouro's reign of terror would come to an end once and for all. With each detonation, a wave of satisfaction washed over them, knowing that they had struck a decisive blow against their alien adversaries. As the Rod Station crumbled around them, reduced to rubble and ash, the super soldiers knew that their mission was finally complete. They had accomplished what few believed was possible. They had defeated the Ouro and liberated humanity from their oppressive grasp. And though the battle had been long and arduous, the victory was sweet, a testament to the indomitable spirit of mankind in the face of adversity. As they stood amidst the ruins of the Rod Station, A sense of relief washed over them, knowing that they had secured a future for generations to come. But even as they celebrated their hard-won victory, they knew that the fight was far from over. The Oro may have been defeated, but there were other threats lurking in the cosmos, waiting to challenge humanity's newfound freedom. And so, with heads held high and hearts full of hope, the super soldiers vowed to stand vigilant, ready to defend their planet against whatever dangers may come. As the dust settled from the destruction of the Oro's planetary rod, a wave of relief washed over humanity, a profound sense of liberation that reverberated across the globe. With their primary weapon of control neutralized, the Oro planet lay vulnerable, ripe for retaliation. And retaliate we did. From the war-torn surface of Earth, our forces launched a relentless assault on the Oro, striking at their remaining strongholds with renewed vigor. With the Oro's ability to retaliate diminished, we seized the opportunity to turn the tide of the war in our favor. Our bombers streaked across the cosmos, unleashing devastation upon the Oro's stations and outposts, decimating their defenses, and striking fear into the hearts of their alien overlords. But our victory would not have been possible without the aid of the super soldiers, the elite warriors who had risked everything to infiltrate the Oro's planet and disable their machinery. With the Oro's control over Earth shattered, the super soldiers joined our ranks, their advanced technology and combat prowess bolstering our forces as we pushed deeper into enemy territory. Together, we waged a relentless campaign against the Oro, driving them further and further into the depths of space until they were backed against the ultimate abyss, the fiery inferno of the sun itself. With nowhere left to run, the Oro faced the full wrath of humanity's vengeance, their once mighty empire crumbling before our eyes as they were consumed by the searing heat of our nearest star. And as the last remnants of the Oro were incinerated in the inferno, a chorus of jubilation erupted across the planet. We had emerged victorious against impossible odds, reclaiming our freedom from the clutches of tyranny and oppression. The skies echoed with the sounds of celebration as humanity reveled in the triumph of our indomitable spirit. But amidst the jubilation, there was a sobering realization, a recognition of the irony that had defined our struggle. For the Oro had sought to use us to better themselves, to exploit our genetic material for their own gain. Yet, in their hubris, they had unwittingly created the very soldiers who would ultimately bring about their downfall. The super soldiers, born from the crucible of captivity, had emerged as humanity's greatest champions, leading us to victory against our alien oppressors. And as we looked towards the future, we vowed never to forget the sacrifices that had been made, the lives lost, the battles won. For though the scars of war may linger, we would carry forward the legacy of those who had fought and died for our freedom, ensuring that their sacrifices would never be in vain. United in purpose and bound by a common cause, humanity stood ready to face whatever challenges the cosmos may throw our way, secure in the knowledge that we had triumphed against all odds. Victory was ours at last, and nothing could ever take that away from us.